I'm Dan Boerman, a Kiwi comedian who recently moved to London to pursue stand-up comedy. And every week I'll be chatting to folks here in the Big Smoke who are getting after it themselves. This is Big Pond. It's one of the better ones. Thanks so much for making time to chat to me, bro. I'm very excited to have you on.
Thanks,
and
bro.
to chat to you. The Dark Room at Edinburgh Fringe is the one show that I'm consistently recommended every time I go to Edinburgh Fringe. And what I love about that is you'll get recommendations in Edinburgh Fringe guides for shows. You'll get Instagram ads for stuff. But it feels very old school that the Dark Room feels like such a word of mouth. You have to go see this in-person show that you do.
Yeah.
And for people not familiar with the Dark Room, I know you would have been saying this for at least 10 years, since the YouTube annotated video, since the 5-minute stand-up clip that you did to trial it, since the Perth YCon launch of it. Tell me, what is the Dark Room for those who don't know?
Oh, thanks, man. You've listened to several podcasts I've been on. That's really nice. The Dark Room is a live action video game. Really good excuse to wear a lot of leather and scream and show off the one British accent I can do. People pick options off a screen, and because it's been running and touring the planet for a long time, a lot of people have been to the show and they know some of the words and they chant along. And so as a result, what could be and sometimes sounds to people like, oh, I'm going to go to like a small performance space and there's going to be this thing and it's interactive in the sense that I can maybe pick one thing, instead is a sort of a gut-busting rock and roll cult experience. And really, immersive mostly in the sense that my dick gets a lot closer to the audience than it used to because I've learned how to climb things. So yeah, pretty much a night that begins with the phrase, "You awake to find yourself in a dark room," and then ends, as all good nights like that do, with pain.
I love that, dude. Well,
Thanks,
I want to
man.
ask off the top.
Oh yeah.
I imagine you might have like quite an indoor audience, a gamer audience. Wouldn't you? You have, I imagine, the ecosystem of the League
Not a
of
lot of
Legends,
sunlight, mate.
Not a lot of sunlight. So how does an audience like that fare coming out like to something like that, having you in their face yelling at them?
They're the best at it.
How do they find that? You probably have some characters in there that have like the blue light blocking glasses and the wrist supports. They're indoors, they're smart people, but they are indoor people. How do they respond to intense theatre like that?
Well, they bloody love it. I mean, we got a hugely neurodiverse audience, and some of that at various ends of the spectrum was a huge surprise. Like I've had dads bring their non-verbal sons to come and see me, and they're like, yeah, he doesn't laugh at anything. He likes you.
I'll be fucking talking after that, though.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah. Well, because I reckon it's because like there's a structure to it, right? It's not like when you're gonna when you think about the structure of crowd work, when you go see stand-up, the structure of crowd work is, hey, you, where are you from? It's shit. What's your job? It's shit. Your appearance is shit, right? And really that feels like you're negotiating a kind of fatal social contract, because in the guise of a conversation, it's somebody hanging shit on you so that the crowd can enjoy themselves. Whereas the Dark Room, right, even though it's a show hosted by a psychopath masquerading as a sociopath, masquerading as a video game, it has rules, right? It's a game, and games are fun, and there are defined parameters, So if I say you're in a dark room, here are 4 options to pick off a screen. You pick a correct one, you don't die. You pick a bad one, and you die. But when you die, that's good, and the whole crowd's going, you die, you die, you die. At that point, you go, I'm part of this. Yeah. And also, after about a million years of doing this, you learn the difference between someone who looks a bit reluctant, but it actually they do want to have a go and that'll be fun. Yeah. And someone who absolutely shouldn't play, that's a panic attack. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you learn to know the difference after all that time of someone who looks keen, and then you realise, they may be.
I mean, I very rarely like it when I see people like frantically pointing at their friend and their friend's fucking cowering. Yeah. I very rarely go, I must use that person. What I'm more likely to do is go, stop pointing at your friend, you fucking cunt. Yeah. Do you want to fucking play? Yeah. No, well, fuck you. Yeah. And then you can turn to the person who was getting pointed at, go, would you like a shot, would you? And sometimes they go, oh, yeah. Which, bearing in mind, there's nothing quite so bad for the self-esteem as when you've put on all of your leather and you've jumped around for 15 minutes setting up this concept. And you go, do you want to play? And you hear, oh, yeah, okay.
Go on.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. Yeah. Yeah, but, it's huge fun, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to, one of the first questions I want to ask is, what you're doing is so intense, it's so extroverted, and you've got to be so fucking on for what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
I with my comedy and just in life, I'm not half as on as that. But there are days where, anyone in any job feels off. They wake up and they're like, maybe I don't feel funny today. Maybe I don't feel on. I just want to have a kind of indoor day. How do you turn it up to 11 when you're not feeling on? How do you do that?
Well, they've paid. They've paid to see you, and you owe them a show. Like that. That's the answer. Like I've explained. I work like an arcade machine. Like you put the money in, and it'll work. You know, like that's just how I operate. Now, if I've disappointed audiences, but I've always tried my hardest.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do fucking anything else. I'm intensely lazy in real life, but I can go and come alive. You know, if you've got 2,000 people looking at you and they want to have a good time, I think that's a pretty fantastic motivator. Doesn't matter if you feel funny. It's not about you feeling funny. It's about them going, is that funny? I'm enjoying it. And once you feel them enjoying it, I challenge anyone. You'd have to be in a fairly bad depression to be unable to have that penetrate you. But I mean, I've had when I had my fucking psychotic shit fit back in 2019 and was really at the bottom end of my life, right? I still, when I went out to work, I could still feel them, and I could still feel like, here's goodwill, and now I'm going to do you some stuff that I think you like, right? And off the back of that, you know, we made some great conclusive times. Now, I might have gone off and cried in a bin later. I might have slept in the fucking thing, but that didn't matter. That didn't matter. You know, like the crowd was entertained, which is the job, you know, and where it's a very lucky job to have and a very privileged job. So as a result, I take that seriously, which is the only thing about this business that I do take seriously.
If you didn't have the privilege of doing what you do, 2019, in your words, psychotic shit fit.
Oh, yeah.
If you weren't doing what you were doing and you had a 9-to-5 job, would it have been
impossible?
Would it have been harder to get out of that place that you were in? Do you think that having the audience pulled you out of that?
Oh, no. I mean, the audience didn't pull me out of it. It was just, I'm just saying that I was able to still do the job, right?
Okay.
And I was able to do the job just because I don't think doing comedy is about whether or not you feel funny. It's about a trained muscle, and it's about understanding how an audience responds and what you're doing to a crowd. And I do apologize, listeners. This is one of them serious conversations about comedy, perhaps the least funny thing in the fucking world. But it's, so there's that. Whereas, if I had a 9-to-5 job, no, I'd just be dead. You know, I would have been dead inside anyway. I would have been like, I once walked into an office. I used to do this, the EB Games Expo in Australia. They'd fly me out every year. They're fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
Biggest games retailer in the country. And I'd go out and do some shows for them, and they were really good. But I walked into their office one time when they're all running this convention, and I really, they're all in their uniforms. They all know each other, and they've all got little nicknames. And I walked into the office, and I went, I could do this. I could work in an office.
Yeah.
And as 3 of them turned around and went, no, you couldn't.
Yeah.
You are incapable of that. And that is correct. That is absolutely fucking correct. I'm a man who can work very well in a group when the task is fun. And I'm a man who's very good at showing up about an hour before he's meant to go on, getting ready, going on, and leaving. That's what I can do.
That's the gig.
That's it. You want a fucking play written? You put the money in. I'll piss off to my room. I'll come back with your fucking play, right? You want somebody to sit there and send an email so Doreen can send another thing to the next line manager up. I'm not going to be there for you, son.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've been in the wilds too long,
You've always been a performer, right? 17 years old, you started stand-up.
Yep.
You've heard this rehash many times, I'm sure, in many conversations, tried your hand at being a singer.
Did I ever? Australian Idol. Yeah, which worked out
an iconic audition there.
I am fucking waiting for that clip to be edited down a little bit so there's no context for what it is and go viral again.
Do you think even with context, the context helps?
There is no context to that. No, there's no context at all. I mean, I'm the only one who can explain the context of that bit, and the context doesn't help, right? The context is a talent show is coming to Australia. It's the first time such a thing has happened in my lifetime. I, at 17, immediately recognised that this is bullshit, right? Because it's called Australian Idol, I go out and buy an Australian flag. I wrap that around myself. I show up wearing the outfit that I used to wear everywhere, like constantly. Get your autism diagnosed, John.
Yeah.
Right? The amount of times that I've had 15 of the same fucking outfit. So these were the white chinos and the black skivvy and the weird trainers I used to wear.
Yeah.
And then, very odd. Like you'd have all these goths sitting around and then there'd be me sort of sitting by like, actually, I just have to go and program my Apple Mac. Like didn't look like a nerd, but looked like a hipster nerd. Like got some floppy hair at the time, right? And then I went, righto, so what am I going to do? And I went, okay, I'm going to go and do Surfing Bird because I'd been watching Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, and Surfing Bird is the dumbest song in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Bad, 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 kind of bad, 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 bad. And I've been listening to a fuckload of Frank Zappa, which is an immediate way to make yourself tiresome to fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Which is why at the end you can hear me sort of, suddenly I'm talking like this and I'm saying nothing of any real value. Right. And then I went, all right, I'll throw myself at the ground. I'll throw myself around, which I used to do to entertain my friends in car parks.
And did you come up with that on the spot mid-performance?
No, I used to fucking do that I used to end up with a face full of gravel on a Saturday night. Yeah.
Did you go in with the plan to do the face part?
Straight up. I'd go, well, the thing is, what no one knows is to get to the TV thing, you have to do it twice.
Right, so what we saw was your second time doing it?
I did it for the Scouts. They did it, the thing is, by the time you see me do it the next day, I'm buggered. The first two before, first one, it was in a just a hotel function area that had been partitioned.
Okay.
So what I did was, and they're going bad, 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 get the bad, the word, and I run up and I jump off a wall. Yeah. Right. I then run over to the other wall, which turns out to be a partition, which I just fucking that goes.
Shit mixed up.
Bad, 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 and they're like, oh, you're going to do that, are you? And I went, yeah. They went, yeah, hang on, come see the producer. Yeah. So then you do it in the producer's office and they go, you beauty.
Yeah, we'll get you on.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
So then you slept on it, you went in and you just committed to the bit.
Oh, did I ever? It was a fucking great time. And the best thing about it was for ages having done this thing, because like early 2000s, you got to understand, right? The TV in Australia is still super important. People watch the television.
Yeah, it's a very big deal.
Then, everyone watches the TV, right? So on the street, people couldn't find you on the internet. They had to tell you things on the street if they ran into you. And I ran into people who were extremely angry with me.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They were extremely angry that their precious television watching time had involved this lunatic for 30 seconds of their fucking lives. And then they were like, I'll never forget this. Like, this guy, was it a woman? Yeah. How could you waste those people's time? They see thousands of people, but, and she's getting quite upset. And I went, well, no, I had to do it for the Scout and then for the producer. And then and really they only saw 30 people on the day. So I think probably they've seen about 100 people total.
Yeah.
And she just went, what? And she was fucking outraged.
Yeah, you just kind of like broke the fourth wall.
Yeah, straight up. She's like, oh, no. Yeah. And also, I'll never forget, I was at a nerd party when that aired.
Yeah.
I knew the episode was coming out. I didn't know if I'd made the cut. However, TV goes live in Melbourne and Sydney 3 hours before it does in Perth.
Okay.
So when my phone started going off,
blowing up.
It was when, I got a message from my childhood best friend, which was just, was it your intention to look insane? Right? So I'm at this party and then I just sort of went, oh, actually, everyone, hang on a second. I turned on the TV and I was on, which is frankly a bit of a baller move.
That would, like you say about television, 20 years ago, it's one thing to be scrolling reels and to say, hey, look, this video of mine went viral, a lot of videos if anyone does. But there's real people auditing that content for you to go on TV.
That's right.
And it almost has a bit more weighting socially. Do you think back to that performance on Australian Idol? When I see that, I think this is someone who is a coiled up spring and can't have any life outside of performance, right? Do you see the energy that you had there and think this makes sense that I ended up doing what I was doing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I never had any direction ever. I just did. I did things that seemed like they would be good to do. Like basically, just a sort of like a bloke wandering around with a dowser's wand, going, "Oh, I reckon there's water over there." And that's all it ever was. So if somebody said to me, oh, John, you should be a lawyer, which is what I got told. When I was a kid, I was like, oh, you're articulate. You'd be a good barrister. I went, great, I'm going to be a barrister. Then, I didn't get into law at the top uni in Western Australia, which, is roughly the equivalent to, not quite managing to climb a short man's ankle.
Yeah.
And then my English teacher was like, oh, but no, the best theatre program, if you don't get into the major drama school, is at this uni. And then I didn't get into the major drama school. So I went, all right, well, I guess everyone wants me to do this.
Yeah.
And then on the first day of uni, I met a pretty girl who went, oh, you're John. I see you down at the local anime club. You're really loud. And she told me I should do stand-up. And I went, oh, anything, all right. So I did. And that's it. And, I just kind of throw myself into what works. And then it's astonishing because a lot of it's taken a long time, but stuff that I'm interested in, once you've done stuff that people start to like and you kind of learn a little bit about how to entertain people, you can move in stuff that you like. And sometimes it's you selling people on an idea, right? And then after a while you go, oh no, people are now coming because they also like the thing I like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes that just slots into like meets like. And sometimes it's people going, oh no, we're going to go see John Robertson. No, he does weird shit about S&M. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Do you like S&M? No, but it's really rude,
Now, after so many years of doing the dark room, how much is you selling them an idea and how much of it is informed by what the audience has taught you that they like?
Oh, it depends on the territory.
Okay.
Like, depends where we are. Like, you've got to, like, if no one knows the show, same with anywhere, wouldn't matter. Wouldn't matter who it was. Jerry Seinfeld performing to an audience that isn't impressed that he's Jerry Seinfeld is someone having to prove themselves, as everyone is. But you can come on with a particular set of skills and a particular set of assurances. And I love the way I jumped straight from, I'm a weirdo and I do S&M and gaming shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jerry Seinfeld. Obviously the immediate thing. I did at one point that was it. I was calling myself the Michael McIntyre of masochism and the Seinfeld of sadism, which, not bad. And as one, that doesn't mean a huge amount. But if you got an audience together that's shown up because they want to hear comedy about bondage, and you call yourselves that, they go, fucking beauty.
Yeah.
We understand exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
You're going to do some relatable stuff about the thing we like, which is a really easy way of making people enjoy you. Like my grandmother used to say this, she's like, people like things that are about them. Right. Now, that's not always true because if you're going, hey, you fat piece of shit, my God, your hair's fucking gone, your wife's leaving you. Now, you have to, I mostly do that to people who look like they might take that and enjoy it. But if you're actually seeing someone whose wife is leaving at that exact moment and going, she's fucking off, mate.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're like, why is that glass coming towards my face?
Glass is awfully big.
Yeah, exactly. So like when for instance, I took it to the Adelaide Fringe, like that crowd didn't really know me and I didn't really know them, to be honest. So it's you kind of going, this is what we're going to do. We're doing this. And you watch the audience, like you have to kind of be prepared that a crowd that has no idea what you're doing and doesn't know why there's a man in football armor and a corset screaming at them.
Yeah.
Right. They have to sort of process it a bit. And then after, maybe 10 minutes of trying to figure out if they're watching theatre or if it is comedy or if they're allowed to be in and what degree they're allowed to be in, eventually they figure it out and it clicks.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like I did a Dutch hippie festival earlier this year. And for 20 minutes, they were just sort of like we're in a forest in the middle of the night and everyone's lit with glow sticks sort of staring at me. I thought uncomprehendingly, but no, they were just sort of pondering.
Yeah.
And then when it was time.
As the Dutch do.
Yes. And then when it was time. Yes, indeed. And then when it's time at the end for everyone to call out the options they want, they just went nuclear. Which is always, for me, like if I have a quiet show and the show, there are very few quiet shows, but if I have a show in which I'm screaming and it's uninterrupted by things like laughter, right, I know that if in the democracy round everyone just starts picking shit, it was just an audience that was just sitting on its energy all day.
So they're a considered audience. They're sitting there. They're engaged,
That's
right?
fine.
Which, as I say, feels very Dutch. A German crowd's the same.
German crowds are nuclear hot from the go.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like the cheapest joke I've ever made in Germany was after we got this German crowd in a bunker chanting, "You die, you die, you die."
Jesus.
And I've just gone, fuck
Muscle memory.
Well, straight up. Yeah. I just went, fuck you, people are good at following orders, aren't you?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it turns out that the German version of ooh sounds a lot deeper and a lot more like you get one. You get one mention of that.
Yeah.
Every visiting comedian gets one.
Yeah, you get one pass.
Exactly. Well, also, to be fair, what I'm talking to there is a bunch of socially aware Berlin hipsters.
Yeah.
A beautiful audience and in possibly possibly the least racist white crowd I've ever seen. You know, I don't think there's any. This is one of the great tragedies of modern Germany is watching Elon Musk try to stoke up division.
Yeah.
Right. When you're like, no, Germany is a country that has reckoned with its past.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with having a feeling of guilt and shame about having committed the Holocaust. Doesn't matter that you didn't fucking do it. You should know that your country and your infrastructure and your history, right? Everyone should know their country's history and know how it works now and what it's informed by, just on a base level. And if everything's come together and participated in a genocide, you should then be able to go, right, fuck, we don't want that to happen again. Tell the children. Tell the children's children. Keep that fucking going, You know, there we go. Sudden pivot to a serious point, but it's correct.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, German crowds really like getting involved. Dutch crowds like getting involved, but you have to tell them how to get involved.
Yeah.
Belgian crowds sit quietly and you think that they're listening and they're not. They're judging you.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to sort of do a Belgian show on prison rules. Like find the biggest man you can and hit him as hard as you can.
Yeah.
So the crowd goes, okay, respect.
Yeah.
I think somebody, I love Belgium. I was just there and we had a really nice time. But I think someone said about Belgium, it's German efficiency and French arrogance.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
German efficiency, French arrogance.
God, I wish I'd said that. Whoever that was on Blue Sky, fucking good on them. But a nice, pretty good summary, really.
I'm interested to know, of all the countries you've performed all around the world, you go up with your what's the word the authority that you go up with? You go up with the authority and you command control of audiences that can be thousands of people. In what country is that the hardest to do from the outset? What country does it take the longest to get that control over the audience and steer them where you want them to go?
Oh, in terms of control, right, hang on. Let me just sort of think in real time because the Brits, like I've said this for years, but the Brits have been trained since Panto.
Yeah.
Right, so they're ready. They love to know how to play a game.
Yeah.
American crowds are fucking excellent. They want to have a good time. Like the Americans are primed to have a good time. The place where it's most difficult. And I did immediately think of this, but I wanted to see if there was somewhere that it was worse.
Yeah.
Was Cambodia.
Cambodia.
Yeah. And it's because of this, right? Like a lot of what I do to control an audience is based on the fact that I look insane when I'm in my outfit. We've got all of this production behind me. I've got fucking spikes on me. And frankly, I'm screaming at you.
Yeah.
And screaming has an intense psychological effect.
Yes.
And once you realize, the bloke who's screaming, this is safe. This is safe and fun, right? But he's still doing a weird thing. That's good.
Yeah.
Now in Cambodia, there is an extreme cultural taboo against shouting.
Okay.
Right? It is intensely embarrassing. People do not do it. So coming out, brah, and they're like, oh, another white cunt.
Is the embarrassment that it's embarrassing for you to do it or it's embarrassing to be shouted at or both?
Both, I think. Yeah,
okay.
It's something about losing face. So I'm probably not coming from a position of power and dignity because they would see that I was losing control.
Yeah.
Right. And they're just not enjoying being shouted at. I have a very, very fond memory of probably the worst darkroom show I ever did, and touch wood, and long may this continue.
Yeah.
But, 14 people sitting on the floor of a Cambodian burger restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. 12 of them, about 10 of them are expats. One of whom was the local quiz show host who just wouldn't stop heckling, which was fucking astonishing, frankly. He and I had a really long conversation in the toilets afterwards.
Okay.
Like, that's how annoying he was.
Yeah.
This bunch of Khmer teenagers who was sitting in the corner, and I kind of think they were just there for burgers.
Right.
But they were in hell.
Yeah.
They couldn't, you could tell they wanted to leave. They couldn't leave. And the way that they kind of expressed, they couldn't be angry, right? They couldn't, there was nothing there to kind of, even when I once helped aid and abet a mate during a Cambodian drug deal and I screamed at the Cambodian drug dealers, they didn't try to kill us. They immediately kowtowed and went, they're like, oh, fuck, this is so grim. Here, have the drugs, right? These kids, what I watched was this. They had an iPod, right? They had one iPod and one set of headphones, and they would all take it in turns to have the headphones so they could avoid listening to me for a minute.
That is incredible.
It was one of the
They had a roster for avoiding you.
It was fucking amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was, by the minute.
Yeah.
It was great. You get it for 10 minutes, then you get it. Then you get it. I should have fucking taken the iPod. I should have just walked over and ripped it off them.
You talk about in Cambodia, there's the culture of, almost a bit cringe uncomfortable if someone's yelling socially what that represents for them. Because that's taboo, would you say there's people in places like Cambodia that are drawn more to what you're doing because that is so against the norm?
Oh, yeah.
That it's almost like a kink, like a shameful enjoyment.
Oh, I think there are plenty of places in Cambodia where you can go and get your shameful enjoyment.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd want to bother going to see a comedian for that. You can go and pay a nice lady to do that for you, and she'll tread on your balls while she does it. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I think a lot of the audiences, because I can only, unfortunately, at the moment speak English, and a lot of the people who come out to see English language comedy are just people who, they're expatriates or tourists living out there. So that's most of your audience. So I would say that they come because they want to see what's on. But if they do know, this is the guy who fucks with people. Yeah. This is the screaming guy. I like that. Yeah. Then it's that energy.
Fantastic.
Which I bloody love. We've just had on the tour. It's happened in a few places. It's dads bringing their just their kids, right? Yeah, like their adult kids, like 18. And I've had a couple of dads come up and go, "Oh, this is her first comedy gig." Yeah, and I brought her to you, because I wanted to show it what it looks like live and all this. Brilliant. And I've had to go, "Oh, fuck, it gets better from here, sweetheart." Oh, I'm so sorry.
For continuity as well.
Oh, yeah.
Some waters have appeared. Yeah. And Mr. Robertson has been on the missions this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. Just went and dropped my partner off at the train station. And now I'm back, and I appreciate your commitment to truth.
Yeah, I don't want to be dishonest to the people.
Did you want to fake it? I deliberately moved my hair so it looked exactly the same as it was. I've actually moved my jacket about the 1/4 inch up the wrist that it was when I left, which is fine. I do also appreciate that I keep moving this up because this jacket is too fucking warm in here, and then it goes back down. But it's too handsome a jacket, and you're filming, so I'm keeping it on.
It's a very good jacket. Where's the jacket from?
Camden.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I've lived in fucking London, on and off for 13 years, or as the joke goes, 8 if you ask the government. Anyway.
Oh, that's good. That's a goodie.
Oh, it's a goodie.
Genuinely, I know that sounded real fucking weirdly sarcastic when I said that, but that is actually hilarious.
No, it lends out fine. I mean, there was a time when they were doing an immigration raid in my neighbourhood, and I'll never forget because bloke knocked on the door, and I popped my head out, and I went, "Yeah," and he went, "Oh, we're looking for illegal immigrants in this area," and I went, "Oh, none here," and he went, "All right," and he pissed off. Right, I was the illegal immigrant. My visa had expired the day before. But a white-faced popped its face out, and he was like, "Oh, it couldn't possibly be that." Anyway, I went down to Camden. The reason I mention it is you'd think after 13 years that you could avoid being completely done by the sailors of Camden. No, fuck no. Oh, they saw me coming. I looked at the jacket. Suddenly 2 men were fucking upon me. The jacket I was on wrenched off my body. This placed upon me. And then they were like, "Oh, yeah." And they're showing me the price tag, which is insane. Yeah. And then the guy goes, you live local. And we've only got one. And we want to get rid of it. And I got it for 1/3 of the asking price. And it was 2 weeks later that I was like, this is clearly as much as the jacket should have cost.
Yeah, it was never 3 times
I've just paid what the actual price of this jacket is.
Yeah, you paid the RRP and you're like,
fucking hell.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah. It's all right. It's handsome and it's good, and it looks good sitting down. If I stand up, this is basically, I'm in a sort of latex tank is what I'm in, like somewhere between a tent and something Rommel might have given people trouble with in the desert is what I'm in.
Do you always rock the leathers? Do you ever have like an outfit like for downtime? Because when I was a teenager and still now, closeted Motley Crue fan, like 80s glam metal, like take me to a pub quiz, I'll run circles around anyone else for that era.
On that specific...
like 80s glam metal. Like
really?
I house painted my jeans, inspired by Alice Cooper used to have like Alice up the side of his pants. And I think it was like, "Welcome to my nightmare tour." I had Motley Crue up the side of mine with a pentagram on the arse. It was tragic to look at.
On the arse, mate.
On the arse, yeah. But it was...
What a great summary of Satanism's value.
Yes, dude. Yeah, I was flying the flag for Satanism from day one.
Sure.
But I would still have like an indoor outfit. But you're always rocking the leathers. There's
nah. Like I've got I just wear black That was my ex-wife told me to do that.
Yeah.
She was right, because I have no actual sense of what looks good. Like, I put on things I like, and I don't really care about the nature of it.
Yeah.
So one day she just looked at me, and I was wearing a top hat and a fucking Hawaiian shirt and blue jeans and some sneakers. And she just went, "You wear black on stage, just wear black all the time."
Yeah.
Right. And it just makes everything easier.
Yeah, and black is your favourite colour?
Oh, entirely. Like, I, if I whack on some black jeans and a black T-shirt and I go walking, right, great. If you've seen me before, you know who I am, and I look like I do. So that's great. And I can wear it anywhere. Like my sort of ambit, not ambit claim, but like my kind of water margin is, can I walk down the streets of Perth, Western Australia without being brutally beaten for what I'm wearing? And the answer now, as I've crested into 40 and I've got tattoos, is I can walk down the streets of Perth, West Australia. People think I'm going to beat them.
Right.
Which is everything I've ever wanted in one go. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I won't wear this jacket, though, because, one, it's going to be super hot when I go down there just before Christmas. But also, I just don't want to have, like, people on the street try to figure shit out, because, like, I've got a bit that I do whenever I'm back in Perth, which sums up my town, right? And I love Perth. I love it with all my heart, but not enough to live there, obviously. But the summary is, I'd gone and washed my hair, and I went outside, the sun's going to fucking fix that in 15 minutes for you. And a car drove past and slowed down, and I thought there's bad news coming, right? And it stopped next to me, and the bloke popped his head out and went, "Your hair is shit," right? And he was bald.
Yeah.
And I went, "You've got no haircut." And he went, "Fuck you." And I went, "Fuck you." And I went, "All right, bye." And he went, "Yeah, all right, bye." And that's Perth in general. And I just can't, I don't want to spend 2 weeks of Christmas holidays with me mum having people going, "What is your fucking coat? What is that?
Yeah.
Fuck. Are you wearing a bat on your fucking chest, mate? The fuck is this?" Like watching Deros try to figure out how to roast you is a hell of a thing, because pretty much what they wanted, you just yell is, "You're gay and I don't like it."
Yeah.
Which actually, to be fair, they will just say.
But that also sounds like the backbone of any Australian friendship. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised after that story if you had said he yelled at you, you yelled at him, and we grabbed a pint after.
Oh, yeah, straight up. I would have had a pint of that bloke's blood just to see what made such a fucking faulty machine run, to be honest with you, mate. That's like, you do that with someone you fucking like. Like, the amount of blokes I've met at parties who, like, especially in Australia, where you get, "Oh, here you're a comedian." It's like, "Yeah, I hear you're fucking tiresome." "Oh, he got me." It's like, it was that easy. That's what it took to impress you. You walked all the way over here, right, to see if you could best me in a game of wits. And it was pretty much, "I think you're bad at your job." And I'm like, "I think you should kill yourself." Yeah. Perfect. Now we're friends, are we? I find that shit too fucking tiring for words, mate.
Do you find that people do you find other men are intimidated by what you do for a job?
Nah.
When you say you don't?
Nah.
So when you say you're a comedian, have you haven't had interactions where dudes just do a quick think and they're like, "Oh, fuck, I couldn't be funny on stage"?
Oh, they say that. But they're not intimidated. They're just making conversation.
Okay.
Because, it's enough to look at me. Like, I can't do their job. If they're a fucking labourer, and they're, roided to fuck and their hands are all calloused or they've been at it a bit so their bodies are fucking broken from lifting bricks.
Yeah.
And they shake me by the hand and, it's as smooth as a baby's ass, all of this. They know full well I can't do their job. And if I say I do this, and then they'll either go, "Oh, that's good."
Yeah.
Right? Or if they ask you to prove it, you don't have to prove it,
Yeah.
So, build me a house, cunt, and then they're happy with that.
Do you find, is that a different type of man? The person who's got like the moisturized hands doing comedy, like a long-haired comic on stage, that type of person, and the labourer Australian man, is that like on the spectrum of masculinity of men? Are they different people?
Oh, I reckon. I mean, they are different people. It doesn't mean we can't get along and get along fucking beautifully. Like as long as neither team has decided to start downloading some podcasts by chinless sex trafficker Andrew Tate and sat around going, no, this is good. It would be gay to have sex with a woman. I can't do that.
Loving your wife is gay.
If anything, I should kill them. Yeah. That's the only thing that's moral and righteous. Also, I need cum gutters, the most heterosexual body part. As long as no one's doing that, we got a lot we could talk about.
Yeah.
Like I find a lot of male friendship, especially in Australia, is it is two guys going, "Yeah, how are you? We could kill each other, but we're not going to." And like a sort of shared acknowledgement of like either strength or interest, which is good. Like thing is, like labourers I like labourers. You know, I fucking depend on them. You know, they pay my bread and butter. If those guys, you know, you've had a hard fucking week on the piss, you come out to see me, you want to have a good time, I'll do everything I can that you have a good time. But also, you know, like, fuck, you might have built my house. You know what I mean? You can do all this stuff I can't do. I fucking respect that.
It leads into a question I have for you, going back to the dark room and your comedy. What do you do that's always going to survive, and what do you do that AI can never replace?
Well, I sweat. That'd be the difference. Like that's what people come for. Like people want an experience that's for them. You know, they come to see me to go, we're all in the room together and John's here with us, doing a thing for us, often about us, right? For me, the most successful thing that I do at the end of my shows is I bow. And sometimes I have thrown myself around that when it started out like this originally, I take really long fucking bows, right? Now, sometimes they're not earned, okay? But most of the reason I'm doing a long bow is sometimes I've frankly fucking exhausted myself while I've been out on that stage. So we started doing it where I was throwing myself around quite a lot as darkroom, and I'd go to do a deep bow and I'd have trouble getting back up, right? I'm wearing a corset when I do darkroom, big boots, all this shit, you know, sweat's pouring off me, right? And you stay down. And people, I've always thought what people were applauding more than anything else was the effort that you've put in to do it for them. And this is the thing. AI produces mediocrity easily. Now, you're in comedy, so you know that mediocrity should only come through extreme effort. You know,
exactly.
Got to work on it.
It's taken me 4 years to be this mediocre.
It's taken me 22, mate. Don't worry about it. Right? And that's what I do. You know, we can all be in a room with a machine and the machine can generate some meaningless bullshit, right? But watching a human either masquerade as a video game to his extreme physical detriment or open the show by climbing through the audience, right? And fucking, you know, like endangering himself but keeping the crowd safe and all of this. That's what I can do, is I can be there and I can put effort in and I can get sweaty and tired doing it. And that's what I can do that AI can't replace.
You talk about keeping the audience safe and the sexual elements of what you do. I'm thinking in the ecosystem, the overlap of the BDSM universe and the live performance universe. What does that Venn diagram look like for you? What is that overlap?
Well, they all play D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons players. Are they probably, would you say, intimately, they're the freakiest people, those characters?
The D&D people?
Yeah.
Nah. The
just
vampire.
Missionary.
The Vampire the Masquerade people.
Okay.
Would be the more alarming role playing people.
Alarming.
Yeah, straight
Good
up.
use of the word. Yeah.
Well, they're the ones who you know, they'll go off and dress as vampires. You know, that's like Vampire the Masquerade is Dungeons and Dragons for goths, right?
Okay.
D&D is is for everybody, right? But I've definitely met a bunch of people where the joke is, oh, I'm a dungeon master. Not that kind. It's like, oh, bullshit, it's both of them.
Yeah.
It's clearly both of them.
Yeah.
What's that? You're sitting at a table and you're controlling what everyone does? Fuck off. You're loving this. Check your dick.
Yeah.
You know?
Check your dick.
Check
That's
your
a good
dick.
one.
How wet are you, mate?
You need check your dick merch.
Yeah. Oh, that's not bad.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Check your dick. Tote
there
bag.
we go. Yeah, it's about time, actually. It seemed like a health message. Yeah, good. I've never participated in Movember, but finally, the things I've done with the check your dick movement.
Not to be confused with Czech as in Czech Republic. When you say check your pockets.
Yeah, check
in your
pockets.
Show.
Well, check dick wouldn't be so bad. Finally, I tell you what, the joke of check pockets is in the verb and check pockets is in the place. Fuck, that kills in Europe.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you are.
It's brilliant. It's so silly. I love the silliness of it.
Well, this is it. Like, one of the nicest things, Tom Tuck, who's a fucking mensch, he's wonderful. Tom Tuck, the greatest compliment he can give you is he'll walk past, you'll just go, so dumb.
Yeah.
You know, and he means it with huge respect. Like, what you've just done is so stupid, right? And that's deeply funny. You know, things that are silly are funny and good. No, in terms of like an S&M audience and a geeky audience, they're pretty fucking excellent, really. You know, like a kinky audience, because they're all like, for the most part, except for the most incredibly toxic elements of them, they're about consent and they're about informed consent.
Yes.
Right. But they do also have, like, everyone's got their own set of parameters. So it means that I'm at a stage of my life where at 2 different shows in 2 different cities in the UK, 2 different latex dogs have come up to sniff my dick while I've been on stage.
And not dogs in the Australian sense.
No, you dirty dog. Well, they were dirty dogs.
They were dirty dogs.
No, these were just leather puppies.
And they happen independently.
Yeah, independently. They were 2 different dogs.
Well, they call that as convergent evolution when unrelated to one another. You've got these audiences have just you've done that to them.
Yeah, well, you hope they're unrelated to each other. I'd hate for there to have been a litter of leather puppies, each one sent to a different town to wait for John Robertson.
I wonder how many leather puppies before you realise someone's having you on. I wonder what the equilibrium is where you're like, oh, someone's having a laugh here.
Well, to be fair, both of them were pretty serious. I mean, if you could spot someone who's faking their job. I'm an undertaker. Yeah, really. Yeah. Why are you looking to your friends like that? Why are you finding your own job deeply amusing? If you have such a funny job, why aren't your friends pointing at you like she's got a good job, all of this, they've got a good job, right? Now, the leather puppies, one was a guy who I was talking to, and I just got the vibe. I was like, this is a submissive gay man, and I can sort of, he's wearing some, not just goth shit, but he's got some fetish stuff on him. And I'm there like, yeah, so what is it you enjoy? He's like, oh, I'm a dog. I was like, oh, yeah, righto. So that show finished. We've never released this video. Okay. We found an opera singer in the crowd. So she's up on stage singing opera while I'm we do the confrontation from Les Mis. Okay. And so we're doing that. And I just happen to have this dog, which is just this bloke who's just nuzzling my dick while I'm doing it, which is great. Very fun. I mean, as he discovered, I literally wasn't that interested in what he was doing. He could have felt my fucking indifference with his nose, if you follow what I'm saying, right? But, it was one of those things, but we did it. And then, in Manchester, there was just this barking noise. Yeah. And then at one point I looked down and I was like, all right, the leather dogs put their fucking mask on, right? And then they tried to run up on stage and I sort of went, no, bad dog. They sat back down, which I think
frustratingly they would have enjoyed being told they were a bad dog.
I think they probably also enjoyed a bit of frustration, mate. Yeah. One of the nicest things I've ever done, this is years ago, I was out in a crowd. S&M audiences sometimes travel in packs, right? Like dogs certainly do, but they travel in groups because they're all friends. They've all come out together, right? So sometimes if you see a bunch of what appear to be goths, but there's a little more PVC and a little more skin than usual, and the women all look pretty deeply confident, right? This is a sign that you've sort of hit a kind of S&M patch, right? If the non-binary people, sometimes are looking at very mischievous or very dangerous, right? And you can sometimes see what the dynamics with each are. But there was like a stack of just kinky gay boys who were in the front of just a normal comedy club one day. Yeah. And I remember because I'd climbed, right, and I jumped on them, right, and the littlest one, he'd shown up in really shiny PVC pants. Now, PVC is like latex for cowards, right? Because it's easy to get on, but it's not a fabric you can wear casually, right? It like if you're rocking up in PVC and you're not a pipe, right? It pretty much suggests, the time has come. Someone's probably going to get shat on later, right? And with that guy, what I remember is I put my foot down, right? And I must have been wearing fairly thin-soled shoes at the time because I put my foot down, right? And my foot had finished long before, his dick would have. But I hit something hard, and I've literally been going, chastity belt there, mate? And he's going, yeah.
So where is this taking place?
Just in a normal comedy club. In a normal comedy club. I've literally just stepped on the chastity cage this guy's wearing it. I'm like, mother, that is fucking unreal. Like, he is having a great show, right? He will be sitting with whoever is holding a key to his dick. He's probably, if that bloke starts bouncing while he's laughing, he's probably got a big butt plug in his ass.
Oh, my goodness.
And you know what? For all of that, none of us would have known that if I hadn't trodden on his fucking balls, right? He did later follow me on Twitter, and I'll tell you, his account was filthy. It was 100%, my dick's locked away! Yeah. I was like, oh, man, if I'd just done normal crowd work, he probably just would have told me.
The older I get, the more I realise that there's so much of that in society, right? I've been naive to that. I was in a relationship for most of my 20s. I come out the other side. If I shake hands with someone in a suit, I'm like, there could be lingerie under that, man. There could be all sorts there,
There could be anything. Yeah. Anything at all. Everyone
I think everyone's a pervert.
Yeah, no, straight up, everyone has something. Like, I mean, well, it's like this. I get a bit fucking annoyed by particular strands of online censorship because any bill that's proposed for online censorship doesn't actually target the problem, which is extremism.
Yes,
right. That's what you want to actually stop, right? But I was at the protest because they were trying to ban face sitting about 10 years ago.
Right. Where was this? Sorry.
This is outside Westminster.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, it was hysterical. It was just, an excuse for a bunch of pervs to dress up and sit on each other while singing "Sit on My Face." Like, we were all really making a point, And
pre-COVID was a different world, wasn't it?
Oh, was it ever? Well, you're not going to get COVID from a cunt, mate. You can get a lot from down there, but I'll tell you, a dick has never coughed on me.
There's another tote bag. No COVID from a cunt.
No COVID from a cunt, mate. Yeah.
Outside Westminster.
Yeah, no, it was, and we're just there, everyone's got, a lot of muffled singing going on.
Yeah.
A lot of lips. And it was a nice thing, but like it was making a point, right? Because the government were clearly doing that at the time to distract from something else. But also, when we talk about perversion, if you're watching a federal body or nowadays corporations are the ones leading it, right? A corporation that decides, no, that thing being done by consenting adults is wrong and bad, and we're going to demonize that, right? And then they start fucking with your money off the back of that or any mention of it. Like, and this extends from like, when YouTube will be like, don't say fuck, that's bad, can't do that. It's like, well, what? Sorry, what's the point then? What's the fucking point? Like we're just swearing. Then what happens is you get censorship of people actually earnestly discussing queer issues, and sexual health, demonizing of a bunch of fucking things, so that some hypothetical stakeholder, Mo and Flo somewhere in the middle of Omaha aren't upset.
Yeah.
Some fucking technocratic billionaire who, God, on the day that this cunt dies, God will go, I don't know you. Go to hell with your fucking machine, mate. I love the term perversion, and 10 years ago, it was a fun thing to say. You'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm a fucking pervert, man,
Yeah.
And people would sort of go, oh, yeah, he's kind of talking about like, a bit of whips or something. And then increasingly you're like, oh, okay, no, people's sexuality is now being continuously used against them fucking constantly, I mean, the best thing that I could do, right, just as a fucking Kingster, the best thing I could do right now would be a hard pivot to the right, because they don't give a fuck what they're doing. They just don't like it when the lefties are fucking and enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, abortion bad. I fucking knocked up a 16-year-old. Take her to the clinic, would you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, incredibly hypocritical. Do you think, like, what I see over the last kind of 5 or 10 years, it's like, my belief is that people aren't becoming more perverted, more intensely sexual, but they have the freedom to express that now. It's becoming more accepted.
Yeah, then they should.
Yeah.
They absolutely fucking should. Like, if you can't talk about what you want, right? It's not a matter of you won't get it. You will fucking fumble towards it, or you'll live a life of extreme closeted frustration. And that always fucking outs itself at some point. Like when I was at school, the most virulent homophobes I met, right? 20 years later, all gay.
Oh, yeah.
Now that they're finally able to do it, finally happy to do it, right? Great. But like what you're talking about, like the businessman who's shown up with panties under his suit, right? Oh, you're never going to hear more transphobic shit out of anybody than that guy.
Yeah.
Right. And you're just like, I don't know, man, you're part of the same cloth.
Yeah.
On some level there. It's a big, beautiful world. You just got to accept people. What it is, not everything has to be for you, But that's it. That guy as well, he'll be in a weird mixture of I'm angry, I'm ashamed of myself, therefore I hate that, but also I'm ashamed and that gets me off. But therapy and a dominatrix will sort that out.
Would you, I mean, if you're lucky enough, sometimes they can both be the same person.
No, they can't.
Can't they?
That's very fucking, don't ever make that mistake. No, fuck no. You walk out, okay, look, no therapist I've ever met has offered to put pins in my ball sack.
Right.
Yeah, even the ones who do CBT. There, done. There we go. We've just done the most hack of the therapy S&M jokes. all the therapists and all the S&M people make the same joke about cognitive behavioral therapy.
That went over my head. I feel ashamed that I missed that.
No, I wouldn't worry about it because CBT is cock and ball torture.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they all do this.
I suddenly feel less bad for missing CBT.
Yeah.
That it's cock and ball torture.
I love the way it went over your head. It's meant to go through it.
Haha, there it is.
Hello, Fox.
That's the last shred of innocence that I have is not knowing what CBT stands for.
Really?
Yeah, I think that was
the last shred of your innocence.
Witnessed the loss of innocence.
Really? I'm glad to have done that.
Yeah, no, I feel
look, I've done that to a lot of boys in a lot of dark fucking cellars, mate. This is going fine. This is all right. Also, on some level, I must stop fucking saying that because my bisexuality, right, is pretty fucking limited, to be fair. You know, I've just every once in a while I've looked at a pretty man and been like, I would like to hurt that. Now my dick is hard. Well, this didn't happen 20 years ago. It happens now. You know?
Is that I want to hurt that? Is that the same thing that happens when, you know, like if you see like, I don't know how I can segue into this without needing to edit it heavily. There's a phenomenon if someone sees something cute, like a cute kid, and you want to like squeeze it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Is that
oh, that's exactly
that's
right.
the thing?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Well, that's the game, you know. So it's one of those things like when it was when people were finally, at least my generation was finally starting to be open about their sexuality. And I'd never really thought about it as regards me. All of my friends in Australia, 90% of them are bisexuals or lesbians, right? I've always, you know, like you boys toddle off to war, I'll be at home with the girls. You know, that's where I'm at, and I have a great time. The joke that I do about this is my bisexual awakening was I saw a penis one day and I went, oh, I like that. It reminds me of a woman, right? And yeah, lo and behold, literally I was in a beautiful group sex situation, right? And I saw a very handsome dick being going down and I thought, oh, yeah, give us a bit of that. That'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then I went,
it's a bit of me.
Yeah, that's it. And then I went, oh, yeah. Okay, well, that didn't used to be in the system. Or if it was, I wasn't acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Oh, fine. Good.
That's now in the rotation.
Yeah, sure.
You enjoy,
it's in the rotation. Yeah, you know, the occasional bullet in the chamber. Why not? There we go. I might have just found it. I might have just found the most aggressive version of how to say buggery. Bullet in the chamber.
Bullet in the chamber.
Another bullet in the chamber, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say with you touch on like with that group sex with like polyamory?
Yeah.
Does that exist in the same ecosystem as people who are like with kinks and perversions? Is it something that people there's not more people wanting to do it now? There's just more people who feel comfortable exploring that.
Yeah, and really they should. You know, like the most important thing with polyamory, it's also the fucking hardest thing.
Yeah,
is you don't all have to talk to each other if that's not the arrangement. Right? Yeah. But if it is,
as a man, I enjoy that proposal. You don't have to talk to your partner. Fantastic.
Well, no, you have to talk to your partner. Partners have to talk, right? But if everyone's in it together, okay, like especially if everyone's in like a domestic situation or everyone lives in the same town or whatever, there has to be some understanding of we're all doing this. Either it's that or it's a what do you want to know? Like, what do you want to know that I'm up to? How much do you want to know? Whatever. And that can be very tense because you're trying to, you know, make people feel good or like dance around feelings. No one wants to get in anyone else's way, right? So a lot of S&M is scheduling. Not S&M polyamory, but S&M is also scheduling, you know. Yeah, and it's pretty much, you know, do I love you? Oh, I don't know. Is it Wednesday? You know what I mean? Like, I love you on Wednesday. Thursday's her night. You know, Friday I'll see you again. You know, this sort of thing. But yeah, it's about consent and a bit of respect and a bit of discretion sometimes. You know, like some people mostly want to know, oh, what are you doing with some other people? I don't wish to know the details unless you've got a funny story.
Need to know, nice to know, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Nice to know. Yeah, nice to know is a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. But if it's a really intimate thing, like and everyone's all there and everyone forms some sort of relationship, whether that relationship is just a friendship or whatever, that's what they call a metamor. A metamor is somebody who is partners with your partner but is not your partner. Right? So, you know, something like that. So I've seen that. You know, you can see some really nice friendships come out of that. And if anyone thinks, oh, well, this really sounds like a recipe for disaster, when it goes wrong, it absolutely can be.
Does it go wronger than a standard relationship?
No, fuck no. It's like, I mean, relationships go the way they go. You know, we've all done that. You can have a beautiful relationship that ends like you've both trodden in a series of landmines.
Yeah.
You know, you can have any relationship and it ends how it ends. You know, some end and you don't even notice. You know, some end and the other person didn't notice. Sometimes you both go, well, this has reached the end of its time. Right? Yeah. With poly, what does happen, it can be a bit of a burden for the partners. So say if you have multiple partners and one of your partners leaves and it's very upsetting, then the other people who, whether they love you or whatever it is, you know, whatever the nature of your relationship is, end up sort of, I speak from experience, kind of dealing with that grief.
Yeah, they're a sounding board for what you're going through.
Yeah, and that can be hard. That can be very hard for people, and sometimes just annoying. You know, like if you're there with someone who really what you guys do and the nature of your relationship is you come here, we slap each other about a bit, and then we eat food, and you come in like, and they're just sort of like in a leather harness, like, yeah, okay, man, no.
Yeah.
No. Look, okay, you fucking dry your tears and fucking hit me in the tits, all right? Or fuck off.
Yeah.
You know.
We've got a whole line of merch that you've been soft launching.
I speak only in catchphrases. Yeah. I love a soft launch.
Yeah.
It's when you ejaculate without getting hard. It's a soft launch.
There's a fourth tote bag.
Yes.
Would you say
yes.
And I mean, they're half joking, half serious when I ask this. You talk about polyamory and all of that. The backbone of that is communication.
Yes.
You famously, comms degree.
Yeah.
Are you not one of the best people to be doing polyamory because you're so good at talking about shit?
No, I'm not, because
it doesn't make you any better?
No, I have the same problems that, look, I used to do this. I was an only child. I don't know if you can tell. I was an only child, and I was judged to be a bit bright when I was younger, and then off the back of that, I was judged to be a bit weird. Now, what that does is people just leave you alone, okay? And as a result, if people say, oh, you're a weird individual, like, oh, there's John over there on his own, like all of this, you presume, or at least I did, that all the problems you're experiencing, no one else is having, and you don't really know how to ask about them. Because sometimes when you do ask about them, the people you do know don't know what you're talking about. Sometimes you don't have a common language with them. And what I mean is that I spent a lot of my life doing stuff, and I would think, oh, well, you know, this is a problem that we can solve. We don't need to talk to anyone else about this. No one else knows us as well as we know ourselves. We should do this. And as a result, no, it's just stupid. Like, there are problems I can't fix. You know, that there are obviously things I don't know, and there are experiences I haven't had. But I would just be like, no, weirdly isolated. That's good. And off the back of that, you one day discover, oh, the world's moved on, you know, things like that. So I've definitely had occasions where, sure, I might have been verbose, but I wasn't saying anything of use. And I can be absolutely upended by emotional situations I've never been in. Like, I've definitely had that happen a bunch of times. Like, I've been in situations where I've been completely paralyzed by something I never saw coming. And that's happened a bunch of times. And it doesn't matter, like relationships where everyone was talking, but then somebody goes, oh, I'm not happy, and actually I'm so unhappy that this is over now.
Yeah, just a variable you couldn't plan for.
Well, that's it. You're like, I don't, you know, and the first time that happens, you don't see it coming. The next time it happens, you go, well, how didn't I see it coming? Right? And then the third time it happens, it just reminds you of the other two times, and you're just fucking traumatized.
Yeah, it brings up the...
That's it. Yeah. You know, you're like, oh, shit. You know, I mean, I had that happen once. I had to explain to somebody, like, it was just a thing. We weren't playing with other people at the time, but I'd been cheated on once when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly figuring it out because I woke up and I looked at the clock and it was 4 a.m. and the person wasn't home. And I went, oh, okay. that was it. I was like, I knew, right?
Mm.
And then years later, the same thing happened again with somebody else. And I just went, and I did have to say to them, because I was quite upset, but I did have to go, yeah, look, it's not really what you've done. Like, we can talk about this. That's not, but unfortunately, I'm now back 20 years ago.
Yeah. You're back to
stuff.
Younger you.
Yeah. So, so I might be.
Which is a big fucking can of worms to open.
Yeah. Well,
it's so much bigger than that there as it's now.
But that's life. That's life, unfortunately. You meet people with PTSD. They hear a banging noise and it takes them back to Afghanistan. What I'm talking about is the most middle-class version of this. I was hurt once and I've been hurt again in a similar way.
Yeah.
One of us can fix our problems with poetry and getting their dick sucked. I wonder who that is. But yeah, like, I don't know. I do what I can, and I try to navigate how people feel, and people are respectful of how I feel, and that has led to a lot of really wonderful things. Like my relationship with my ex-wife is excellent. We love each other deeply, and have communicated extremely well for a very, very long time. And I think that that's a wonderful thing. And I hope that I'm communicating well with people. Everyone seems to understand what I'm saying, and they seem to like what I'm saying. And also, just for fun, because my partner listens to these, and I said to her earlier, because I booked in 2 podcasts this week because she likes listening to me on podcasts. So this is me just saying that now on the mic, going, "Have you reached this point of the episode? Are you enjoying this bit? I presume if you weren't enjoying the earlier bit, you'd have rung me by this point. But hello."
Quick plug. Thank you for listening. Appreciate the listeners.
No, thank you. No quick plug, please. The train was most uncomfortable. Anyhow.
When I get on the tube home, I'm going to click with what you meant there, and I'm going to be like,
that was fucking
plug,
clever.
Jack, I thought it was,
it's not
but
clever.
I thought surely he's not going to miss 2 filthy jokes. No,
they're fairly. I was about to say they're fairly subtle, filthy jokes, but what I mean is the subtle element is that they're jokes. They're, when someone says, I find like when someone says humor instead of comedy, right? It's like, the humor was quite subtle.
Yeah,
is roughly equivalent to saying there was no taste in this coffee, and that's all it is. Just little subtle for my taste. No laughs. Yeah. But yeah, thanks. I thank you for the compliment. I will attempt. I will go into a room and announce I do polyamory well, and if I'm torn apart by perverts as they laugh, I'll let you know.
There's a couple other things I want to ask you, and as I said earlier, I appreciate you making time.
No, I'm delighted
twice today,
brother. I'm delighted to be here with you.
It's cool to pick your brain.
How could I not hang out with a man who has better tattoos and better hair than I have?
Get out of town. I somehow look like you before and after rehab.
No. Yes.
For you've been. I mean, how long have you been doing this in a full-time capacity? Quite some time now. Performance.
Yeah.
As your job.
Well, I had it thrust upon me because I got sacked from the science center I worked at in 2008.
Is that the one where you got kicked in the dick?
Yeah, repeatedly. Horrible.
Not by staff, we should add.
No. Weak bastards. They lacked the strength and the. That was horrible. It was because I was 23 and I was entertained. I was doing kid shows, and a big part of doing kid shows, you can actually do the craft, which is getting kids interested and looking at you and paying attention to what you're saying. Or you can do what I do, which is just jump around like a mad fool, like a human cartoon, and kids go, "Great, we're watching a human cartoon," and then the children get rambunctious and they begin to. They'll kick the shit out of you is what happens. And there was just a day where, I got punched in the balls about 6 times.
Yeah.
When I went to the staff room, this was great. A bloke who used to work with Jim Henson worked there. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
But I walked in and there, taped to the wall of the staff room, he'd made me a pair of underpants out of bubble wrap.
Right.
He's like, "Oh, just put those on, John. That'll solve it." So that was a nice little fucking prank. But that's sort of like, it's not just the writing is on the wall, but fake undies are on the wall. This is bad. And I got sacked because I went on the radio and said I'd been calling in sick because I was writing my new show, which, by the way, was on that Friday. And, they sacked me. Fortunately, I had this show that I had to go and do for a few days, so I did that. And then, my then wife went, oh, yeah, well, you should, all right, go on, throw yourself into it, do it. So I did. And, so, that was the kind of, I'd say that was the sort of fake it till you make it years of 2008, 2009, because I was getting work, but, there wasn't a huge amount of it. It probably began like properly paying for itself once we moved here. Like, but I'd been a full-time comic. Well, really since then I didn't have another job again.
Yeah.
It started making money, probably around 2013, 2014. Long time ago now. Fuck. Whoa. Yeah.
So when would you say, you talk about that journey from having like a traditional job into something creative and arguably so much more enjoyable?
Oh, yeah. No one's yet punched me in the dick while doing stand-up.
No.
Look, and the people who might enjoy that sort of treatment would like me to do it to them, and that's exactly how it should be.
That's a good dynamic when you can stand on the crotches. You know that you hold the power there.
Well, yeah. Well, of course you hold the power. You've got them by the balls.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
What do you we think about that timeline of anyone chasing some creative endeavor, comedy or otherwise, and they're looking at going all in like I'm doing with comedy, and others themselves move into the UK and going full send? What, like, is there a one size fits all approach? How far into your career, how far should one go all in with following it in a full-time capacity?
Look, okay. I reckon everyone has to do everything that's available to you in a creative field, right? Absolutely fucking everything.
So you can't be picky in a creative.
I don't mean you can't be picky with projects, right? If you're going to put your fucking face on it, think about it. That shit's important, But I mean, you got to have a wide fucking palette of shit that you can do, right? Because the days in the UK of you're going to come in and you're just going to make money from performing in stand-up clubs, they are very dead. Those days have been dead since before I got here.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. I was just too stupid to know. Like, I used to rock up. There were weekend comedy clubs all through the fucking country. They all paid for a hotel. You would do 2 nights. 2 nights is £500, right? Every week in your fucking bank, right? Done.
Wow.
Right? That was what I was getting when I first got here. It was working on a weekend. Rest of the week, I just sat on my fat ass, right? But that's gone, right, for the most part. That was very open. There were a lot of chains. Now there's only a few, right? You get that work when you can get that work. You get into with each club eventually, right? I've been here 13 years, and only now are London comedy clubs going, oh, John Robertson headline, right? But it's taken 13 years.
So that won't happen 2 years in?
It can. It might not. It depends. Like you go in, you form a relationship, right? Now, I haven't formed so many relationships because I've been busy. I was busy doing other things. I was on the road. And when I wasn't on the road, I was streaming on Twitch. And when I wasn't streaming on Twitch, I was doing voiceovers. And when I wasn't doing voiceovers, I was writing. And when I wasn't writing, I was doing Darkroom. And off the back of Darkroom came some other projects. One day I answered a fucking ad on a comedy forum. Can people come down, do are you a comedian? Do you like video games? Come down, we'll film for you for an hour, give you 50 quid. That's how I ended up on a TV show, right? Like, I didn't realize they were getting a series worth of content out of that hour, right? Get savagely underpaid. But I messaged the director and went, hey, I enjoyed that. You got anything else for me? Yeah, I ended up hosting a TV show for 3 years, And then, I'd never been a TV presenter. I specifically only had one thing on Australian TV, which is me having me fucking, schizoid episode.
Yeah.
Right? And this is what I mean. You got to be able and happy to embrace everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for me, it's summed up by one of the first times I hadn't moved over here yet. I'd come over, and when I landed, this was a lovely thing. I got 3 offers for that day. Last minute offers for that day for things I could do. I could go to Plymouth, where I would be paid £250 to headline a shit comedy club in Plymouth. Now, I checked the trains, and the trains at that late hour were going to cost about, that much to get back. So say no to that one. Would you like to go and do an Edinburgh preview at a comedy club that's no longer there? Thought about it. Sure. The last offer that came through was from the man who was my first agent here, which was this. Can you come down and do 10 minutes at this club in Hammersmith? Harry Hill's on, trying out new gear.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, fuck me, because I knew the Hammersmith Apollo. So I was like, fuck. So I'm like, I get down there. Turns out it's a pub next door.
Yeah.
Right. But that was a really good and instructive thing for me.
Right.
Because that was me coming in and going, because I walked in and I went, righto, so I go on, and then obviously Harry Hill.
Mm.
And they went, no, Harry's just going to get up. He's going to do 10. You're going to follow Harry Hill.
Jesus.
So I did. And you know what? He was just a man trying out some new gear. And the crowd went, it's great to see you. That's excellent. Some of that works, some of that doesn't. Can't wait to pay a lot more money to see you in the bigger venue next door in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Who's this Australian guy saying we're cunts?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah,
right?
Fantastic.
And the guy who was headlining was Sol Bernstein, a man who had been working the clubs for years.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really instructive thing because you go, all right, the television megastar who I knew who he was before I got here, right, he's not above. In fact, it's vital to him to come down and do 10 minutes unpaid. He wasn't even advertised, right? 10 minutes unpaid. The people who can really do the job are getting their money from doing the job. They might one day have something like Harry Hill. I might one day have something. But you just got to be aware there's going to be a lot of basements. There's going to be a lot of big theatres as well, right? And I have never, maybe now, but I still do everything just in case, right? If you're making money just from one strand of creativity, right, I would say is impossible. It's the hardest thing.
Mm-hmm.
You spread yourself out over a bunch of things, like as you have, very artfully. My God, the folder fitted sheet thing.
Yeah.
Fucking excellent.
Oh, cheers, man.
No worries. No, but I told you when I saw you, be happy for anything like that. It's all good. You're not going to, like Rod Quantock, who's from Melbourne, okay, one of the venerable odd bods of Australian comedy, widely regarded as a giant and a satirist and a great fellow, right? And he'll gladly tell you, I've never met the man, I don't know if he'll gladly tell you, but nevertheless, he, for ages, was the face of a mattress warehouse called Captain Snooze.
Okay.
That was his first national commercial.
That was his first
Captain
gig.
Snooze, and there's a man who's going to tell you stuff about the class system in Melbourne and a couple of good jokes about the tram, And when you see him on the street, comedians you think are ancient will be like, fuck, there's Rod. Whoa, wow. But if that man's not afraid of it, then no one can be. The only thing that stops you is morals. It's like I'm currently getting, I very rarely get like brand deals. People don't come to my Twitch to go, curiously, the S&M video game guy, they go, probably not brand friendly actually.
Yeah, right.
Right? But there's this one mob, they've been messaging me fairly insistently. And this is the sign that things are a bit shit. It's when the influencer agency goes, oh, hello, we're influencer agency.
Yeah.
First, they greet you by your screen name, not your name.
Yeah.
Which is how you know where they found you. I get a lot of emails from Mr. Darkroom.
Mr. Darkroom,
which is nice. So I'm like, Instagram, okie dokie.
Yeah.
Dear John, okay, good. At least you've gone to the website. That's nice. You've discovered my first name. It's thejohnrobertson.com. Thank you. This one is, hey, Robotron. And you're like, oh, okay. We think this would be good, and they talk about the agency, but not the client. And you're like, oh, there's going to be some bad shit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, man, you fucking shove your gambling up your fucking ass.
Oh, yeah.
Don't advertise gambling. I don't advertise gambling. I don't advertise fucking weapons,
Yeah.
I don't advertise AI or crypto.
Yeah, booze.
Booze. Oh, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I liked it.
Yeah.
I'll send it to my house.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's the thing. I got a lovely supporter who runs a gin distillery.
Okay.
And she came over the other day. We were just having a chat, and I was like, you want to do darkroom small batch? And she went, yeah, no worries. I'm like, great.
Unreal.
Yeah. Like that. If you got something that's quality and also supports another independent business, right? I love that shit.
Yeah.
But, coming out of nowhere, we're casting the net wide. Can you just go and convince some children to gamble, please?
Yeah.
It's like, no. No, I fucking can't.
Yeah.
You know, also vaping, shove it up your ass.
And they pay big money as well, those gambling companies for influencers. It'd be, you know, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, like, I mean, everyone's got a fucking price, but also I love my audience. And my audience is what keeps me alive.
Yeah.
You know, you know,
There's
sometimes
no price for that.
No, absolutely not. And it's not that I don't occasionally do things that members of my audience don't enjoy, because that'll happen. We all have our little artistic pitfalls. You know, I've overcommitted to ideas millions of fucking times. But I know, like, if we're all here because we go, you like what I do, and also for the most part you tend to like me, right? We are as one in this. I am not going to try to sell you a thing I don't believe in, you know? And I'm not going to turn around and go, it would be really good if we all got into CSGO right now, you know, or, hey, gang, I've got some NFTs and Bored Apes that I'll sell you. No, fuck no. I believe in things like, you like coming to my show? I've got a T-shirt of my show. They're well designed and they're funny. You like that? Great. You know, and then the reward is this, modest income, right? But when I go to do my solo shows, even if it's not darkroom, I can stare out at a sea of people and my own face stares back at me from their chests.
Yeah.
And that's what love feels like.
Yeah,
or
brilliant.
At least admiration, or at least it's as close as I'll get to being in a band or a footy team. So that's good.
But is there an argument though, you know, 2025, would you say, you know, with the likes of Edinburgh Fringe, with the live performance you're doing, that comics are the new rock stars?
No, we've been saying that for 20 years. No one's bit, mate.
Right, have people been trying to make that stick?
I was fucking around when they were going, comedy's the new rock and roll. And I was like, they don't say rock and roll anymore. This is how what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. All
right, Tutti Frutti, you enjoy yourself. I've heard a million versions of that. Comedy's the new punk.
Yeah.
Like anything that's quote unquote the new punk is just always shit. Yeah. Comedy is comedy, right? Comedy is a universal fucking construct. It has been in every culture in one degree or another from the beginning of human civilization. Comedy never needs to be, you know, like, oh, we're the bang bang truth tellers. Like, at least, look, also 20 years ago, the bang bang truth tellers, at least they were fucking earnest about it. You know, now it's a bunch of millionaires going, oh, I got told off because I wanted to say slur. And then this fucking slur said I shouldn't say slur. Oh, I'm a genius because I've said it. Oh, you know, great. Yeah, I like your comedy, especially your early funny stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of people come to mind when you say that as well.
Yeah, or do they ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, more than fucking ever in your life, you know. What was the question? What'd you ask?
I can't remember.
Doesn't matter.
No, I was
it's going. Yeah, comedy is the new rock and roll.
Yeah,
and comedy, yes, shit like that. Nah. Comedy is comedy. And comedy is the work of outsiders. And you know, if you want to find a way of trying to sexy that up, that's fine. But rock stars do their business, you know, and we do ours. You know, it is our look. A rock star, and bearing in mind, a dying breed, the rock star.
Yeah.
Right. But and you know, like let's just say a pop star, right? Because a pop star's a rock star, really. Like Taylor Swift would be the world's finest living rock star. To be fair, well, she is. You know,
I agree.
She's filling arenas. They're her songs. Everyone's there for this product, right? Here we go. You know, Chappell Roan. You know, all of this. They are people uniting a bunch of people together with a sensation and a bunch of emotions, right? And it is the pleasure of the comedian to be able to sit there, look into the face of 200,000 screaming people, looking at one person and go, well, this is a bit shit, isn't it? You know, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then we're sometimes able to do that for large audiences of our own, but we don't need to be rock stars. We don't need to be anything.
Yeah, it's its own
like
thing,
that.
Independent.
Straight up, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I use the signifiers of rock occasionally. You know, like I play dirty electric ukulele. I've got long fucking hair.
Yeah.
But these are just to remind you of other things. You know, like if you see me dressed as Darkroom, I look like not a fantasy character. I look like a video game character, but I also look like the Road Warriors from the wrestling. I look like the guys from Mad Max. I look like Warhammer things. I mostly look like a freaky weirdo who can kick you in the fucking teeth, right? And when I come on stage with my hair all fucking wild, wearing not a black suit, but like a black jacket, right? Shit jeans, some shoes of some description, and a cheap fucking shirt, right? What I look like is a madman who has dressed himself up a little bit, right, to do a show for you.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, what I am.
Which is all very intentional, what you're describing as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was originally an accident. I backtracked it from there.
Right.
Yeah. But I realized eventually, because I used to do it in a suit.
Okay.
And the suit, I don't know, like people, like there's a review which goes, I really liked this. There's, John Robertson looks like a star. And then unfortunately he starts talking. Something like that.
Fucking backhand.
No, it was amazing. It was really good. Yeah, every time he was about to say something interesting, he just moved on to something else. Maybe, but the most perceptive thing about that, because that was Bruce Dessar, who's a really good critic, he went, maybe it's just his style at the moment. Because Bruce had seen me a few times do a few things, so he knows it does change.
Yeah.
And it was just what I was doing at that time.
Yeah, it was just.
But yeah, like with the jeans and the stuff, it doesn't look quite right, right? But it does also mean that I can walk into a corporate and they can go, oh, he's not like us, but he's made the effort to look like us, right? I can walk into a metal festival and they can go, he is like us, but he's wearing a jacket, he's doing a show, right? And anywhere else, it's like, well, you can tell an event's on because they've got a nice black jacket on, right? But the rest of the behavior is of a debauched fucking moron.
Yeah, what they paid money to see.
Yeah, exactly. And they can go, hey,
Unreal.
Thanks,
there's a lot I want to ask you, but I know we're limited for time, but I appreciate you coming back.
Whatever works, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming back.
I mean, if you want to quick fire it, I can fucking try.
How are we doing for time, bro? We're leaving in like 3 minutes sharp?
Oh, legend. Yeah. All right.
Oh, so we can chat for another 10? Unreal.
Thanks,
I appreciate
bro.
that, man.
You're a mensch, man. Thank you, brother. No worries.
I'm going to clap so I can see the spike in the audio. Give you a very brief applause. Couple of quick fire questions. Before I do, we obviously had an hour between takes. That's for you.
You never did.
So you are, John Robertson, a fan of Pepsi Max. Tell me if I've got this right. A fan of Tony's Chocolonely.
Yes.
I couldn't find any cheese noodles for you.
What a guy. Oh, man.
Couldn't get you the cheese noodles.
What a legend.
But I thought I wanted to get you that as an early Christmas present. I'm going to be straight up and down with you. What would have fucking floored the episode? There was a Tony's Chocolonely, and I'm about to describe to you a gift that I didn't get you.
That's okay.
It was about 20 quid, which is why I didn't pick it up.
Oh, you don't do that.
Tony's Chocolonely Advent calendar. Because I know you're a fan of Christmas.
I am a fan of Christmas. Big fan of Christmas.
Christmas smells like Ugg boots.
Yes, it does. Christmas smells like my dad's Ugg boots. That's right.
What a sweet and happy association for the holiday.
Yeah, no, it really, really is. My dad, tracky dacks, Ugg boots, big beard, great. Some of my fondest memories of my father involve Christmas. There's a wonderful photo. My mum used to tell this story. She really liked it. There was a Christmas where Dad got socks from everybody, right? And it's one of my mum's favorite photos. Is he's sitting there and he had big legs, big long legs. He's stretched out and he's just holding these things like Christ crucified. And he's got the face of a man who, is clearly just like, this has happened, and he's having a nice laugh with it. And it's just a fucking really nice thing. And I remember once when I was a teenager, my mum was looking at that photo. She wasn't like tragically like holding it or anything because he died when I was 10. But he was, she was just looking at it. She went, oh, he had good legs, your dad. Like that. And I had to go, could you stop perving on my dead father, please?
Yes.
Which, was, give her some fucking pleasures, It was a nice thing. And no, thank you for reminding me. Also, thank you very much. You not only have you gotten me Tony's Chocolonely, it's the best one.
And it looks like a security sticker on there.
Yes, the security sticker on it.
That they would put that on for 4 quid chocolate.
Yeah, well, it's 4 quid chocolate,
treat.
Thanks, bro.
Oh, no stress at all. It's a pleasure having you on. And like I say, I've said it maybe a few too many times to start getting weird, but I do appreciate you making time.
No, I'm very happy to be with you. Thank you.
I think something I'm really keen to ask you before we shoot off.
Yeah.
What is after 20 plus years as a creative, doing this full time for several years now, sage advice, whether it's creative or otherwise, people just going all in and chasing the thing they really want to do, whether that's if that's comedy, theatre, maybe they just really want to be a lawyer, whatever that is. What's your tidbits if you can kind of summarize that 20+ year journey?
Yeah, I got it for you. Yeah, like you got to do it. Don't have something else that you can do if it doesn't work out, because that's not the answer, right? The best thing you can do is you stay in the game, right? You got to be in it to win it. Be fucking patient with yourself, which is frankly impossible. But you will, if look, you want to have a long career, you are going to go up, you are going to go down, you are going to watch your friends go beautiful places, you're going to watch your friends get addicted to smack, you're going to watch all sorts of shit. You know, you're going to see people who are at the top of the mountain have extreme nervous breakdowns and never come back. You're going to have a nervous breakdown, and then it's up to you and everyone who loves you as to whether you come back. The people who are in your life, who are close to you, who are supportive, you do not take that for granted. If you take that for granted, it's not that they will go, but it hurts them. It's not a good thing to do. No amount of what you want to do in your creative life is worth destroying anything for, right? Whether it's, if you reach a point where you're like, I've really got to sacrifice family for this. No, you know, if what that means is you don't want to have kids, that's a different thing. But if you are so fucking focused that you've ceased to be joyful for the people around you, right, you got to fucking look at yourself at that point, right? Because that's bullshit. You're not going to be better at your job. You're not going to be better for the family, right? So that's something. That's fucking powerful, and that's an important thing. Aside from that, money's money. Get money. Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter where money comes from. Don't fuck around with other people, right? That whole thing about you got to be nice to people on the way up. You'll see them again on the way down. Yes, you fucking will. Some of them will push you down there, you know. You will remember every cunt who has ever wronged you, right? Not all of that is practical, you know. It's not necessarily, you might never be able to do anything about it. It is good to remember in case you have to deal with them again, that some people are not to be trusted, right? Be patient. Be fucking patient with yourself. That would be a good summary, I would say. Accept help when you can. Don't be a dick about it. Don't ask too much of other people. Learn what asking too much of other people is. You know, that's something. And most of all, it's just fucking comedy, or it's art, you know, or it's picking your ass, or whatever the fuck it is. It's not a sacred mission, right? You're just someone who wants to do something to enrich yourself. Lots of people do. Give it a shot. Keep going at it. Be gentle with yourself and with other people, right? But it's not a crusade, you know? Don't set your sword on fire and burn down the house.
It can feel like a crusade for people, though, can't it?
Of course it does.
It can feel more serious than it needs to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it will. And the thing is, the longer you do it, the less serious, the less it fucking matters. You know, like the most psychotic, insane, badly socialized fuckheads you'll ever meet will be on the open mic circuit. You know, you're going to meet a million billion people who are kings of shit mountain, right? Who have never done anything in this industry and are never going to. And that doesn't necessarily come down to talent or lack of effort or anything like that. It's because they're behaving badly and they become satisfied in a position, right? You'll meet a bunch of that. Or they're so unsatisfied in a position they make it everyone else's problem, right? The game is come in, show up. I think it was Stuart Goldsmith. Stu, I'm about to fucking misquote you, right? But you show up on time, be good to work with, and be good at your job. If you can do any two of those three, you'll work for the rest of your life.
How much of the picture is those three? What % of cracking it is those three things?
I don't reckon there's any percentage. It's like cracking it is your brain. Cracking it is whatever you think success is, right? I'm in a position where I've lived a bunch of the things that when I was a boy, when I was a very angry teenager, and bearing in mind the whole thing that I'm saying about be nice to people is because I wasn't, right?
Yeah.
I was fucking paralyzed with rage. Like the second I did one bad gig, you know, I thought that the entire world was fucking against me, you know, all of this stuff. It's almost like 17-year-olds shouldn't be trusted with microphones, but that's not important. You just kind of gotta sort of, I don't know. When I say I've lived a bunch of dreams, I have, right? I wrote a kid's book. Puffin published it. I used to always read Puffin books when I was a kid. I wrote exactly the book I wanted to make. I work doing the thing I always wanted to do. I have people who are happy to see me. It seems to be an expansion. I haven't completed my task yet because I don't have everything that I want, but I am happy. And that's the most important thing. People who go, oh, if you're content, no, that's bullshit. You got to move. No, absolute fucking nonsense. You can be happy in doing stuff.
So those two coexist for you. There's things you still want to do, but at the same time, you are happy.
Of course. Got to be. Because if you're not happy, you'll go fucking insane. We're fortunately in a society, but we're in a fucking culture where success is decentralized, right? I come from a time when you're doing comedy, are you? Are you? You're not on the TV in Australia, so are you doing comedy? What are you doing? You're in Perth. Do we have comedy here? Right? So if the only mark of success is that you've been on the one bit of TV comedy they show in Australia that year or nothing, right? And then you come out in a world where it's like, mate, I got powers of mine. They got like 2 million fucking TikTok followers. The only way you find out is they mention it one day in conversation.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, 2 million people watch you, but I didn't fucking know that, and you still suck at comedy, right?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. We all have something. People are impressed by various things. I know a bloke who, he didn't really want a bar of me, and then he looked me up on Instagram and he went, oh, 89,000. Oh, and then suddenly, that really meant something to him. Whereas to me, I'm like, oh, I got more on TikTok. Oh, so, but stuff means what it means. Like, my mum is incredibly proud of what I do.
Yeah,
but
great.
what frustrates me in my life is 90% of my accomplishments I have to explain. It's like, Mum, I've just gone and headlined the comedy at Download Festival. Yeah, no, it's a metal festival. England. It's in England. No, it's good. Okay, right. Whereas what my mum would really like would be to appear on the only channel she watches in Australia. So if I'd be so good as to just do about 10 minutes on the ABC, right, then she would have something she could understand. But the wider point is this. You can be deeply fucking successful these days in a million ways and no one knows your fucking name. It's fine. Or as it got summed up for me by the comic Tom Ward, we're out the back of Glastonbury. Tom, I hadn't seen him in years, comes over and goes, John, we never see you. I always imagine you somewhere in the middle of nowhere holding a bag full of money. And I was very pleased by that.
Yeah.
It's a good summary.
It is.
I don't know where the bag of money is, but good on him. Thanks for that, Tom.
I love that. That's
Thanks,
very
man.
good. That's fantastic. I'll round out with a final question. Off the back of what you've said there, that's to say that you don't think that success should be the qualifier of your happiness.
No,
you can't base your happiness around being successful or not being successful.
No, I mean, look, do you know Greg Fleet?
No.
Okay, there you go. Well, that's terrible news for Greg. No, Greg.
Sorry, Greg.
No. Greg Fleet is a legendary Australian comedian.
Okay.
Right. Greg Fleet, he had a big special in the 90s. He was on all the stuff. He's a great comedian. He's an incredibly talented man. Right. Now, years ago, Greg was opening for Alex Williamson, who's a YouTube comic. Big news. Big news in Australia.
That's not Shooter Williamson?
Yeah, Shooter.
Yeah, Shooter. Yeah.
Big news in Australia.
Yeah.
Now, what I remember is this. I thought to myself, all right, well, that is Greg Fleet, who you meet a lot of quote-unquote comedy legends over the years who they're just doing the thing that was successful, right? Greg came on to nothing, right, because the crowd didn't know who he was. And by the time he was done talking to them, they were fucking nuclear with excitement, right? That'll tell you everything you need to know because there's a guy who's gone, no, I've been to the top of the tree. I'm still here. I'm in the mix. This guy has a big audience and I am not above being flown out, put up in a hotel, being paid to come on and open for him. No skin off my fucking nose.
Brilliant.
There you are. And why would it be a problem? Why would it? Because the man has developed the skill where he walked onto nothing and 2,000 people now love him.
Yeah.
Great. Those, percentage of that audience, if Greg had wanted to come back, would have then bought tickets for him.
Yeah.
Sometimes the nicest sentence you'll ever hear is, I hadn't heard of you before, but I loved that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real sign of talent.
It's talent, it's expertise, it's fucking just patience.
Yeah.
And it's also where we're at, like I mean, you know, if somebody says, "Oh, no offense, I hadn't heard of you before," it's like, why would that matter? I think I've met everyone who's ever heard of me at one point or another.
Yeah.
You know, if you're wearing my merch, I know who sold it to you. I did. You know?
Yeah. Brilliant.
Well, no worries, bro. Thank you.
Hey, I really appreciate you making time. It's been fantastic chatting to you, and not just for people listening to the podcast, but for myself, an inspiration for what I'm doing. It's all incredibly helpful to hear what you've said. I could never put this up and still find a great deal of value in the conversation.
Oh, so, thank you.
Yeah,
it might be better that way. You never know.
I'll listen back to it and see get RSI from hitting the fucking censor button.
Fuck! This was one of the lighter podcasts I've done, mate.
Brilliant.
This was the thing my partner said. She goes, "Yeah, I like those podcasts where you just start talking about your dick and the guy's clearly not into it." You know, she likes those particularly. So thank you. I assure you, he was smiling.
Yeah, it's good to have that soundbite in there. He was happy the whole time. If you just listen to the audio of this, I was happy throughout, and I was not. I support everything that he's doing. I was not being held against my will, and you can't see me blinking in Morse code right now. But no, it's been.
You just can't gag someone on a podcast.
No, woke gone mad. There's fucking 2025.
There's your tote bag, but my audience will beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. Brilliant. No, thank you so much, man.
Thanks,
Greatly
brother.
appreciate it. I'll
good on you, Dan.
real quick.
And thank you. All right.